Are determined as a people to unify and build a modern, powerful, wealthy Chinese nation.
55年前，李光耀对中国的预言一一实现。第一段。
Even back in 1959, when we first became the government, my colleagues in the cabinet and I could foresee a time when China would become a huge economic power. The size of the country, the size of the people, the quality of the civilization, and the ability of the people. Opening. In 1 hour, Zhang Yimou, with his team, projected to the world 5,000 years of Chinese scholarship and achievements, presented in a succinct way, using mass dancers, mass Tai Chi performances, and so on. I was there, sweating like mad in August. I was watching the reaction of the foreign leaders, and I knew that they knew this was a country that's going to rise.
第二段。
They have a sense of frustration that they were down for so long.
Right.
Let's make it now. Here's our chance.
And the United States has to encourage them?
No, you don't have to encourage them. You just got to understand that they don't want to be an honorary member of the West, unlike Russia. They're quite happy to be Chinese and to remain as such. So when you tell them you ought to do this, you ought to do that, they say, yes, thank you. And at the back of their minds, we have lasted 5,000 years, have you? That Beijing Olympics, if you watch it, what was the message?
We're back.
No, 5,000 years. And don't forget, we invented all these things. And we're going to go ahead in the next 5,000 years. It's the only country where a language has survived 5,000 years. The only country where the present generation shares the same basic thinking as the past. And they're very proud of it. I mean, you read Hu Jintao's speech on the 60th anniversary. I mean, it's all translated on the web.
No.
What is it? We have 5,000 years of civilization. We are going to get there. And it's a rousing speech. It may take us a long time. You're going to work very hard. We will do it. That's their mood, so you don't have to encourage them.
第三段。
The Chinese People's Republic in Peking will be, I think, quite rightfully indignant, and so will the other aspirant in Taipei. But speaking as a Singaporean, with some of the built-in memory programming of the Chinese people, I would say that if you believe that the Chinese people will just splinter up into so many warlord communist committees, each governing a province or even part of a province, then you will make one of the gravest mistakes about Asia. I think I've traveled around the world often, and people don't know that I come from Singapore, and they treat me as a Chinese or as a Chinaman in the old days, as they used to call them. And they used to say, Chiang Kai-shek, in the middle 40s, and nowadays, of course, Mao Zedong. I'd say that they are determined as a people to unify and build a modern, powerful, wealthy Chinese nation. And I say good luck to them. And I think the moment they get prosperous, good luck to me, because I'll be much safer. I don't believe, however, the simple theory that they're just going to send their armies across and eat up Southeast Asia. It's too simple. And it's too simple for you, for the Americans, and for us, because then it's naked aggression. The whole of South Asia will gel together and meet an incoming invader. But you've got this make-it-yourself kind of revolution. Wars of national liberation. Here's the text. We've got an instructor. He'll teach you how to organize, and we'll slip you a few guns and more if necessary. And if it gets more difficult, well, surface-to-air missiles.
第四段。
First, no single person can change India because it speaks 320 different languages. Manmohan Singh can speak Hindi, I'm not sure they can speak Punjabi. I think he can. But at any one time, he will have only about 200 million people out of 1.2 billion people understanding him. So that is a structural problem which cannot be overcome. If you compare that with China, 90% speak one language. And when the president of China or the leader in China speaks, 90% understand him. So it's a much easier country to lead than India. Secondly, as I've explained, India consists of many different dialect and nation groups. There is no connection between the history and development of the Tamil language or the Telugu language and Punjabi. So India is a creation of the British Raj and the railway system it built. And therefore it has its limitations.
第5段
You have actively to encourage your children to use Mandarin in place of dialect. And if you yourself do not speak Mandarin, may I suggest that it is not too difficult to learn how to listen and to understand, so that your child can continue to speak in Mandarin. And with a little bit more effort, you can learn enough of a vocabulary to speak Mandarin. Once it is clear to the government that parents want their children to master English and Mandarin and not dialect, then the government will take a series of administrative measures to support this decision. All government offices, all government hospitals, clinics, all those manning government counters will be instructed to speak Mandarin except to those over 60. So I say, let us face the problem and make our decision. If we continue with dialect, it will drift into a Singapore-type patois Hokkien. There is a certain drift in language use. The choice is a stark one. Logically, the decision is obvious. Emotionally, I know it is painful.
第6段